Why does the tree behind every chocolate bar throw away 9 out of 10 of the fruits it starts to grow? And why did a whole nation build its economy on a plant this reluctant to give anything away? In Ghana, the answer to both is the same, and it starts with a flower no bigger than your fingernail. Every country in the 2026 World Cup has a plant that defines it. This is Plant Spotlight, World Cup edition. And today it's Ghana and cacao, Theobroma cacao, food of the gods. Ghana grows some of the most sought-after cocoa on earth, yet cacao isn't African at all. It's an Amazon tree that arrived barely a century and a half ago. We'll get to how it took over. But first, let's look at the tree itself, which is wonderfully strange. Cacao flowers straight out of its own trunk, not at the branch tips reaching for light, but from the bare, oldest wood, tiny pinkish stars studding the bark. The same knotted patches of bark can flower for decades, so a single old trunk becomes a slow, living factory for pods. There's a hard reason. A ripe pod can weigh half a kilo, and only the trunk is strong enough to hold that without snapping. But a flower is only a promise, and cacao breaks most of them. Its blooms are pollinated almost entirely by a midge, barely a millimeter long. And because the tree rejects its own pollen, that fly has to carry pollen all the way from one tree to another. That midge breeds only in the damp, rotting litter of the forest floor, so a too-tidy plantation can leave the flowers with almost no one to pollinate them. In fact, in the wild, only about 1 flower in 20 is ever pollinated at all. To fight those odds, growers now walk the rows pollinating flowers by hand, one tiny bloom at a time, doing the lost midge's job. Beat those odds, and you're still not safe. A cacao tree sets far more young pods than it can feed, then quietly drops most of them, keeping only what it can fill. It isn't cruelty, and it isn't a disease, just the brutal math of a tree on a fixed energy budget, pouring everything into a few survivors. The survivors take months to ripen, the pods slowly turning from green to gold to deep, bruised red, each one still cut from the tree by hand. And what all that effort protects is the seed, the bean itself. To defend it, cacao packs each bean with theobromine, a bitter cousin of caffeine. It's built to make the beans taste poisonous to insects, a chemical bodyguard for the next generation, and it works. To most insects, a cacao bean is practically inedible, but that same bitterness the tree evolved to drive insects away is exactly what humans developed a taste for. We turned a tree's chemical weapon into the world's favorite treat, but here's what almost no one knows. Fresh from the pod, these beans taste nothing like chocolate. Raw, they're violently bitter and astringent. To become chocolate, they're piled up and left to ferment, the sweet pulp around them rotting as wild yeasts and bacteria take over for days. The heat and acid of that rot kill the seed and break it open inside, and only then do the flavors we call chocolate begin to form. Then the beans are raked out to dry in the sun for days, and only after roasting does the taste we know finally arrive. Which raises the real question: how did an Amazon tree end up defining a country in West Africa? The answer is one man, Tete Kwarshi, who around 1879 is said to have carried a few pods home past inspectors, hidden among a blacksmith's tools. From that handful of seeds, cacao spread farm by farm until by 1911, Ghana grew more cocoa than anywhere on earth. It still supports more than 800,000 farming families today, though a mealy bug-borne virus and a hotter climate now press hard on the harvest. So when Ghana's Black Stars walk out for their 5th World Cup, look again at the square of chocolate in your hand. It's a survivor, the 1 pod in 10 the tree chose to keep, from the country that taught the world to grow it. Join us next time as we sail to a tiny volcanic archipelago in the Atlantic to meet a tree that bleeds red when it's cut, Cape Verde, and its dragon tree.